You have been doing lateral raises for years. Your form is ideal, but in the mirror are the same narrow shoulders. Why? Because you ignore the biomechanics of the stretched position. A new 2024 study showed that you are training shoulders in the most useless amplitude. The load exactly at the point of stretch gives 150% more growth. Today, I will show you the Category King system, which will turn your shoulders into 3D cannonballs, even if your genetics doomed you to narrow collarbones and a weak physique. I have studied hundreds of hours of top athletes' training and the latest scientific data. I will not just show the exercises. I will give you a dosage formula that really works on a student budget and schedule. Watch until the end, because there I will reveal the main mistake that kills your progress and give a secret finisher that will make your delts grow while you prepare for exams. Many of us were born with a narrow frame. You look at guys on social media with shoulders like cannonballs and think it's only steroids or luck. But here is the truth. Shoulders can turn an ordinary body into an aesthetic one if you know where to strike. Your shoulders participate in almost every upper body exercise, but being involved does not mean being trained. They constantly help the chest and back, but never receive the main attention. That is exactly why you might have a normal press, a normal back, but the shoulders look like flat pancakes. To fix this, we need to hit all three heads of the deltoid muscle, the anterior, the medial, and the posterior.
Let's start with the basics. The medial delt is your ticket to the world of wide shoulders and that very V-shaped figure. This is exactly the part on which you should spend 70 or even 90% of your efforts. In the past, we all did regular dumbbell lateral raises, but science has stepped forward. Research on training at long muscle lengths says that muscles grow better when it is hard for them exactly in the stretched state. In regular dumbbell lateral raises, the load at the bottom is 0 and at the top, maximum. This is exactly the opposite of what we need. Your best friend should be the cross-body cable raise. Stand sideways to the machine. Move your arm behind your torso to stretch the medial delt. Now, when you start the movement, the muscle is already under colossal tension. This is the mass cheat code. If you train at home, use resistance bands. Step on one part, take the other, and do raises slightly in front of you, not strictly to the sides. Control the lowering of the weight for 2 to 3 seconds. The eccentric phase is where the real growth happens. Now let's move to the anterior delt. Most guys in the gym lean too heavily on presses, overloading the anterior bundle. But if you want a complete look, you need the right press. Forget about standing barbell presses if you want pure aesthetics. You need stability. The most powerful option is the seated dumbbell press. But here is the secret. Never set the back of the bench vertically at 90 degrees. Most people simply lack the shoulder joint mobility for such a movement. You begin to arch your lower back, or your elbows go forward, and instead of the shoulders, everything else works. Lower the back by 1 or 2 clicks to approximately 60 to 75 degrees. Now press tightly. Point your elbows slightly inward and press. This is safer for the joints and allows you to load the anterior delt to the fullest without unnecessary pain. The posterior delt is what distinguishes an amateur from a pro. This is the very muscle that creates volume from the side and back, making the shoulder round like a coconut. But even more important is that the posterior delt holds your posture. If you sit for hours over a laptop or on a phone, your shoulders slump forward. The posterior delt is the counterweight. The main mistake here is trying to take a huge weight and jerking it with the back. Muscles grow best when the movement trajectory coincides with the direction of their fibers. For the posterior delt, this is an angle of approximately 45 degrees. Use the brush painting technique on the pec deck or with dumbbells while leaning. Imagine that your hands are brushes and you need to draw a wide arc. Do not squeeze the shoulder blades. Push your shoulders forward, lock them, and spread only the elbows. You will feel a burn like you have never felt before.
Exercises are only half the battle. If your shoulders are not growing, you have either a problem with volume or with progression. Write down the formula. 12 to 18 heavy working sets for the lateral delt per week. Divide them into 2 or 3 days. Shoulders love frequency. And forget about ego lifting. Small muscles do not like sharp jumps in weight. Use double progression.
Choose a weight with which you do 10 repetitions. Do not increase the weight until you can do 15 to 20 ideal repetitions with it, and only then take a tiny step up. This is the only way to build muscle long-term and not kill your joints by age 25. Let's talk about what almost no one discusses, about psychology and nutrition for the pump. Your shoulders will not be striated and stand out if you are covered in fat or if you lack normal hydration. You don't need to be a professional nutritionist. It is enough to monitor that there is enough protein in the diet and, importantly, sodium and water before training. Sodium helps deliver blood to the muscles, creating that very visual volume that motivates you to work harder. Use modern apps. Just take pictures of food to understand your numbers. This takes 3 seconds, but gives control that 90% of people in the gym don't have. And now, the promised final secret. The main growth trigger is not the number of sets, but how you finish each of them. When you feel that you can no longer do a single repetition, do not drop the dumbbells. Do a mechanical drop set. Move from full amplitude to partial repetitions at the bottom point where the muscle is stretched. Remember those 150% growth? There they are. Finish off the muscle in the stretched position until your arms simply refuse to rise. And most importantly, perform every negative phase as if you were going to do one more repetition. Control the weight until the very last millisecond. This is the boundary between an ordinary athlete and the one who dominates in their category. Your path to Cannonball shoulders starts right now. You have the scientific basis. You have specific angles and secret techniques. Stop training intuitively. Start training with your head. You are the architects of your body, and now you have the highest level blueprints. Go to the gym, turn on this mindset, and create the aesthetics you have always dreamed of. Subscribe if you are ready to become the best version of yourself through science and discipline. Act, because a category king creates himself while others look for excuses.